Hi there. All through the lockdown, my friend Phil and I have been doing the puzzle pages in the Times, and recently he's been showing me how to do KenKens, which I've never done before, and they're sort of a bit like a Sudoku. Anyway, these are the first two I've ever done, and I'll talk you through how to do one now. Each row and column of the grid has to have the numbers 1 to however big the grid is, only once. So this grid is 6 by 6, so each row has to have the numbers 1 to 6 and each column has to have the numbers 1 to 6. The grid is broken down into areas and you're told what the calculation involving the cells must equal. So for example, 18 times means that these three numbers must multiply to give 18. These two numbers must subtract to give 2, but it doesn't tell you the order. So for example, this could be 1 and 3 or 3 and 1 to give 2. We also have a few cells in this example which are just individual cells with a number, and those you can fill in straight away. You don't always get these in every grid, so I can put a 1 there and a 2 there. Now we're looking for areas of the grid where we've only got a small number of options. Is a good way to start the puzzle off. And usually you'll find they're the multiply and divide ones, although in this case we've also got this 10 plus, and since we know the numbers are only 1 to 6, this could only be 5 and 5 or 6 and 4. Well, it can't be 5 and 5 because that would give us two 5s in the same row, so it's got to be 6 and 4, but we don't know which way round they are, so I'm going to pencil in 6, 4, 6, 4 in small numbers. We also know 18 times going down there. What three numbers would multiply to give 18? Well, there are only two possibilities here. They could be a 2 and 2 threes, or a 1, a 3 and a 6. Now it can't be a 2 and 2 threes because that would give us two 3s in the same column. So it must be a 1, 3 and a 6. So we know that each of these could be 1, 3 and 6. Well, the top cell we know can't be a 1 because there's already a 1 over here in this row, so that could be a 3 or a 6. This could be a 1, a 3 or a 6, and this could be a 1, a 3 or a 6. So let's look at this 120 times next. So this, what numbers multiply to give 120? This has to be 4, 5 and 6. So this cell could be a 4, 5 or a 6. This cell could be a 4, 5 or a 6. This cell, could it be a 4, 5 or a 6? Well, we know these have got to be a 6 and a 4. So that actually has to be a 5. So that one we can fill in for definite as a 5. Looking at this 10 plus again, the 6 and the 4, we know this 18 times must have a 6 in one of those cells. So the right hand one of those 10 plus can't be a 6, so it must be a 4. So that tells us what those two are. So we know that that must be a 4 because it can't be a 6. And we know that that therefore is a 6. Now we know here that that isn't a 6. We can also rub out the 5s because we've already put the 5 in. And we know it isn't a 6, so we know it's a 4. And we know that is a 6 because we've now got the 4 in there. And that tells us that this over here isn't a 6, so it's got to be a 1 or a 3 in there because it can't be a 6. What else can we fill in as possibilities? Well, 11 plus, that's got to be a 5 or a 6 in each of those. Right, we've got a couple of 2 minuses here, so what combinations would give us a 2 when we subtract them? Well, we could have a 6 and a 4. We could have a 5 and a 3. We could have a 4 and a 2. Well, we in fact know that because there's a 6 and a 5 down there, it can't be a 6, it can't be a 5. And this has got a 4 and a 6, so that can't be a 4 and can't be a 6. So it's narrowed down the options a bit. So that's got to be either a 3 or a 5 or a 4 and a 2. Also, we've got the same sort of thing down here. So we know that's either a 3 and a 5 or a 4 and a 2 on that one. Numbers that add to 3, we know are a 1 or a 2 in either of those. Okay, we've got a 3 divide here. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, but we can't have a 2 in that column. So it can't be that. So it must be a 3 and a 1. So we know that one of those is a 3 and one of them's a 1. What numbers add to 7? Well, it's either a 6 and a 1 or a 5 and a 2. We can't have a 4 because there's a 4 up there. So that's all we can have because it's either a 4 and a 3 and a 3 and a 4. And in fact, because we've got a 6 somewhere up here, we know that it can't be a 6 and a 1 because we can't have another 6. So it's got to be a 5 and a 2. Now we've got an 8 plus down the bottom here. So what 3 numbers, which all have to be different because they're in the same row, add to 8? Well, it could be a 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 5, or a 1, a 3 and a 4. Are there any of these we can cross out because we've already got them? Well, we've got a 2 there, so that can't be a 2. We know that they're a 1 and a 3, so that's not a 1. And it's not a 3, so it's either a 5 or a 4. Actually, we know there's a 5 up there, so we know that's got to be a 4. We've eliminated that option altogether. Okay, so we've got either a 3 or a 1, 3 or 4, they could all go in there. A 4 we can't have there. And a 4 we've got there, so we can't have it there. So we know they're either a 1 or a 3 there. So I've just done a bit more tidying up there, rubbing things out, which had already been crossed out. And I can also see that because one of these two minuses has to be a 3 and a 5, that can't be a 3. So we know what those bottom ones are now. They are a 1 and a 3. Which tells us that this 3 plus up here, now we know there's a 1 there, it's got to be a 2 on the left and a 1 on the right. So that middle one in the 18 plus can't be a 1, which means since it can't also be in the top because of that 1, this must be a 1 here. Now we've got quite a few numbers filled in, we can also think about what the remaining cells in a row can be. So this row here, for example, has already got a 1, 2, a 4 and a 6 in, which means that these must be either a 3 or a 5. And similarly here in the next row down, we know these can't be a 4, 5 or 6. They must be either a 1, a 2 or a 3. And this one here can't be a 1 because it's already got a 1 in that column, so that's a 2 and a 3. And then in the bottom row here we've got our 1, 3 and 4 already, so these must be either a 2 or a 5 or a 6. Thinking about this bottom corner more, so these cells have to be a 2, 5 or 6. How can we make 14? We could have a 6, a 6 and a 2, so that's all right. Or we could have a 6, 5, 3, so that could be a 6. That could be a 5. Or they could be the other way around. That would mean that would have to be the 3, because there's already a 3 there. And 6, 4 and 4, well, we've got a 4 there, so we can't have a 4 there or there, so it can't be a 6, 4, 4, or it could be 5, 5, 4, so these could both be 5s, and the 4 would have to be up here because of that 4. Next, we're going to look at this 12 plus area. What 4 numbers can we add up to make 12? And when I went through, I missed 2 options out here and completely ruined the whole thing and had to backtrack. But looking on here, there's only one place in these 4 cells where you can put a 1, which is there, because you can't have a 1 in that row and you can't have a 1 in that column. So we can't have anything with 2 1s in it. We can't have 4s in that, or that. So we can't have anything with 2 4s in it. So looking at our options, we can't have 6 4 1 1 because it's got 1 in twice. Can't have 5 5 1 1 because it's got 1 in twice. We can't have 4 4 3 1 because it's got 4 in twice. We can't have 4 4 2 2 because it's got 4 in twice. Looking at the remaining 3 options we've got for the 12 plus, we've got a 4 3 3 2. Well, the 4 would have to be down here because of those 2 4s. The 3 could be anywhere. The other 3 could be anywhere. And the 2 would have to be one of these, because it can't be in the top one. Can't be in there because that's the only place the 4 will go. Then we've got 5 4 2 1. Well, again, the only place a 4 can go is there, so that's got to be the 4, which means that the 5 can't go in the middle 2 or that one, so the 5 would have to go there. This can't be a 1, so it would have to be the 2, and that would have to be the 1. So that has a possibility of working. 5 4 2 1. Then 5 3 3 1. Well, the middle ones can't be a 5, so the 5 would have to be either there or there. The 3s could be anywhere, and the 1 can't be there because of that 1, and can't be there because of that 1. So that would have to be the 1, which means that can't be the 3, which means that 5 3 3. So that would have to be the 3 in that case. So they're the possibilities for that. So the only one we haven't filled in the options for is the 180 times. When we can multiply the following numbers together to get 180, 6235, 6651 or 3354. So let's try and put those in. So let's see where we can put these numbers in. We've got the 6235. So in that case we could put the 6 here, here or here. We could put the 2. Right, the 2 would have to be there because it can't go in the other 2 rows. So that can't be the 6. The 3 could go in any of these remaining ones. And the 5 can go anywhere. So the next option we've got for the 880 times is 6651. And when we look at this, we've already got a 1 in all 3 rows, so we can't have 6651. So the other option is 3354. The 4 can't go in the bottom row, so it has to go either there, there or there. The 5, I think, can go anywhere. And the 3s can go anywhere. So now we're looking at any sort of clue as to what we can do here with all these. Well, the first thing I can see is in this row here of all the options we've only got one place we can put a 1. So we know that that 3 divided has a 3 on the top and a 1 in the bottom. In the same row, the 5th row, we can also see the only place we can get a 5 in there is on the left. So that means that 14 plus has to be the top option of 6 to 6. So now that means that on the right here, that can't be a 2 on the bottom right. So we know it's a 2 and a 5. The top one's a 2 and the bottom one's the 5. Which then tells us that this 2 minus can't be the 4, 2, because we've already got the 2 here now. So that's got to be 3 and a 5. And that means if that's a 3 and a 5 for that 2 minus, it means that the 2 minus at the top can't be a 3 and a 5, it's got to be the 4 and the 2. So, looking down here, this row 1 up from the bottom now only has one number missing, which is, it's got 1, it's got 2, it's got 3. So this has got to be the 4, so that means we can cross out the bottom option for the 12 plus. It's not any of those. Also, now we've filled this 3 and 1 in earlier, that means we can't have a 3 there or there. And that's the 4, 3, 3, 2 option, 4, 3, 3, 2 option for the 12 plus. So that and another one have to be a 3, it has to have 2 3s. So since they can't be 3s, that doesn't work. So that only leaves us one option for the 12 plus, which is the 5, 1, 2, 4. So I'm going to fill that in. Looking at the 180 times, now we've got these 2 6s. We've got 6 in both those columns, so anything that's got a 6 up there won't work. So basically the 2, 3, 5, 6 option now doesn't work. So it's got to be the 3, 3, 5, 4 option. And since we've filled in a 4 in this column and a 4 in the top row, that means that the 4 would have to be there. So that's not a 4, that's not a 4. We've got a 5 in the left hand column, so that can't be a 5, so that's got to be a 3, that's got to be a 4. And these are either a 3 or a 5. Well, we've already got a 5 there, so that can't be a 5. So that's our 3, that must be a 5, because it can't go in the left hand column or the bottom row. Which means we now can do this 11 plus and 18 times, because we know for the 18 times, the top one's not the 3, so it's got to be the 6, and this one, the middle one, well, we've already got a 6, so it must be the 3, and then this tells us, so we've got a 6 there, we can't have a 6 here, and we've already got a 5 here, so that's the 6 there. So that's all complete, and you can check your answers by checking that each number only appears once in every row and column, and that all the totals add up correctly. And here's another empty grid that you could try.